establish the run early.
Now a throw to the end zone on first down, but it winds up incomplete.
What would look like a march to the end zone has hit a momentary roadblock with that incompletion. No need to panic. They just got to come up with a high percentage play call and see if they can get their offense back on track.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 29. On 2nd down, a run with Hall. They do get a yard there, but only a yard. Leaves them with 3rd and 9 looming.
And this is why aggressive defense coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
Eighth play of this opening drive coming up. This is 3rd down. Wilson. And incomplete on the deep ball.
Against a team coming off a win just as your team did the previous week, you talk about being physical all game long. Sometimes being physical is just being on the spot and helping force the incompletion.
Badgley able to knock this one through. And the Jets hit the board first. It's 3-0. Even though they didn't find the end zone, they have to be pretty pleased with how they moved the ball on the ground because we know that that was one of their big goals in this game.
And that really goes through the entire offense because when you're running the ball effectively, just about everyone's involved. It's not just the guy carrying the football. It's everyone blocking for him, both inside and on the perimeter.
So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll run with Pollard to begin the drive. And nothing much materializing there on the 1st down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
You've got to be impressed by that defensive front on reps like those. They were not being moved off the line, kept their shoulders square, and gave their teammates time to fight to the ball and limit that gain.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. On play action, Prescott. And that'll fall incomplete. He was hit just as he let that go. And now it's 3rd down.
Even the greats in this game, and he certainly qualifies as one of them, they're going to have trouble if they continue to throw into double coverage.
He better be careful. Throwing into too much double coverage might have a couple of them picked off. So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Prescott to throw it. Oh, into a sea of defenders and intercepted. Picked off by Ashton Davis. If you combine last week and this week, he's got a hat trick going because he had 2 interceptions a week ago.
He's seeing the ball so well and understanding where receivers are and positioning. I mean, just watching him work with such great technique and paying it off by actually catching the ball when he has a chance, he's helping his team in a huge way.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Straight ahead is Hall. And he'll be marked down at the 26 with a gain of 7.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber who runs like this early because they will pay dividends as the game progresses.
A good run, got 7 on 1st. Here's 2nd and 3. Hall again on 2nd down. 51 yards rushing for him here as he starts to draw closer to a 1,000-yard campaign. Well, they're making a real first-quarter statement with a run game, no doubt.
For those who remember old-school football, running it, establishing things, seeing backs find holes, get through them, they've got to like what they're seeing from this unit so far. Right now, they've decided to, as you said, establish the run game, and they've been successful doing it.
On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. Oh, he was hit as he threw it there, and that one winds up incomplete.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Hall on a give up the middle. That's on the guard, Laken Tomlinson. Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty. Here's Wilson. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down.
Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone, and there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
Badgley able to punch this one through, and that will make it 6-0. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. They find themselves down here after an interception on their opening drive led to a field goal. But all in all, you'd have to say fortunate to be only down 6.
Yeah, and you know how teams huddle on the sideline before they come out on the field in between series? Guaranteed what's said there is, guess what, guys? We take this ball, move it downfield, put it in the end zone, we're right back to even. Brandon, watching their tape from last week, I saw plenty of plays like we just saw there, forcing incompletions. It was key in their win last week. They're hoping the same thing happens this time out, too.
So following the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 25. Running the jet sweep as Prescott backs it forward. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. This defense not fooled one bit on that touch pass.
And this has become one of those kind of in vogue plays, you know, kind of like the shuffle pass was a few years ago. This one never got off the ground, but you understand why a lot of teams are running it. These wide receivers, a lot of them, they run like running backs with the ball in their hands.
3rd and long for Prescott. Going to take a shot for Gallup. Oh, he rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Bryce Hall. And the Jets are going to take possession of the football.
And partner, I think this is where long-term starters in the NFL separate themselves from the rest of the pack because there's still 3 full quarters left in this one. More than enough time to move past a pair of early mistakes and find a way to lead your team to a win. Mental resiliency, a characteristic every NFL team's looking for in their quarterback.
And that one opened up for him well as he'll take this down to the 26-yard line. 63 yards rushing for him as he's got the afternoon off to a great start. One thing's for sure, this defense has to figure out how to stop the ground game. He's eating them up here in the first quarter.
It looks like they have to go to different forces, aren't they? The conventional things aren't working too well. So I remember a coach of mine saying way back when a back's having a great game, you've got to get the ball out of his hands. See how far he can run without the ball. And what he meant was takeaways, not get loose, because maybe you can't just stop him with just regular tackling.
Second quarter now from MetLife Stadium. The Jets with the football here as they've got it with a 2nd and 10. Wilson. And his throw is incomplete.
They certainly thought he had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board.
A third field goal of the first half, not what they're looking for as they come up on 3rd down. On 3rd down, here's Hall. And he'll be stopped short of the first down, right around the 18-yard line.
That was a good run, probably right on the edge of breaking into something really big. So the defensive guys right now are talking about, okay, what can we do to slow him down before he truly gets started?
Here's Michael Badgley ready for the field goal try. This one from 35 yards away. Badgley's kick is good, and that will make this a 9-point lead. They already had the early lead, and they get the interception, Charles, and now they add 3 more with the field goal.
Yeah, they're in control of how this game is playing out so far. You mentioned the early lead. Now they're expanding on it, getting plays on both sides of the ball. A winning recipe if they can keep this up.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And it's been a miserable start for them offensively. Obviously, 2 drives, 2 interceptions.
And this is where you have to know your quarterback and know how you actually have to reach him. Do you do it with a little bit of humor? Maybe you break the ice a little bit like, hey, didn't we practice in that color jersey all week? Not the one that you're throwing it to? Or maybe you have to be stern with it. But whatever it's going to take to get the message, it has to be done. He's putting the game in jeopardy.
2nd and 6, just inside the 30. To throw is Prescott. That is caught by Lamb. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. His first catch, good for 16 and a first.
We talk about mobility on quarterbacks all the time. Here's where it really pays off. Able to move, evade, and is accurate throwing on the run and picking up a first down.
Here we go, 46.
They'll go with Pollard here on first down. And he'll take it across midfield down into Jet territory. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. Here's Pollard again. And not able to break away this time as they're going to stop him right around the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now 3rd down coming up.
When people talk about plays being blown up, that's exactly what they're talking about. That's Exhibit A for physical play.
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game.
Here we go, 47. Go. 26.
Throwing. Prescott. Flushed out right. And he's able to hook up with Michael Gallup. And that's going to be another first down as the tackle made at the Jets' 23. A big gain of 28 as the drive continues.
Now that's all about making something happen as a quarterback, because instead of forcing something on 3rd down, how about him buying some time outside of the pocket, waiting for someone to come open, and when he did, he put it on him for a big play and a first down.
A A first down throw for Prescott. Swinging this out for Pollard. And he'll be marked down right at the 15-yard line. This drive, it's been a good mix. 3 passing plays, 3 runs, hitting on all 3 of those passes, and the last one putting him in the red zone.
So wouldn't you think play action right here? Because you've got the ability and had the ability to run it and throw it. Go play action and take your shot at the end zone.
Prescott off play action. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. And the Jets are going to have it here at their own 15.
And when a team advances as far as they did, got over the 50-yard line, don't you think that drive deserved a better ending? I think he needs to get with his coaches on the sidelines, make some immediate adjustments, and that's what you do. You don't wait. You do it from series to series, because drives like that end with a turnover, that's multiple times they picked him off already in this opening half.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive. Now Hall to start the drive. Just the one misstep for them in the first half of the season. 7-1 is the record at the midway point. And in terms of whatever power rankings you want to go by, they're at or near the top of the list in terms of best teams in the National Football League.
And for me, in my little bit of rankings here, I've got them at the top. I know there's still 2 months to go, and we've seen teams get off to hot starts and then fade away due to injuries or the schedule or whatever. But unless there are a rash of injuries on this team, I'd be surprised if they aren't a first or a second seed come playoff time.
Oh, he's got some breathing room. And they work this well upfield across the 45. 102 yards rushing for him so far as his terrific season continues here.
This guy's well on his way now to a big game on the ground. It's another good run there. Puts him over the century mark in yardage, and we're still in the second quarter.
Oh, they're going to run a little pop pass here. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
Out of the gun, they run it with Hall. On a determined run there as he's going to take this all the way down near the 40. Give him 12 yards there, and the Jets have a first.
I'm not sure how much more evidence they need, partner, than to understand that if they don't start to slow him down, it's going to be a long afternoon here at the stadium because he is just shredding them at this point. And let's face it, coming into the game, they knew he would be the focal point of their attack. This is going to take an 11-man unit on the defensive side to start making plays.
And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Damone Clark fought his way through and buried him behind the line. Remember, they had the nice gain on the previous play, but they just gave a lot of it back right there on that sack.
Yeah, they get the sack, get back some real estate. Felt like the type of play that can spark a defense and swing some momentum. Almost felt like a take-that type of a play, didn't it, partner?
He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. A big chunk on the ground there, 27 yards. They finally caught up to him there at the end of the play, but great inside handoff, and what a powerful run.
The first few yards seemed relatively easy. Then it got tougher, right? And that's where he showed that he was not going to go down easily. He was not going to be denied until he got everything he could out of that run.
And he'll be out of bounds, taking it just shy of the 10 at the 11 or the 12. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And they'll have a 2nd and 1 forthcoming. He's already proven to be a factor in the running game on this drive. Now he gets involved in the passing game.
I think what we're seeing here is the modern version of workhorse in the NFL. Being able to run it and catch it with equal proficiency.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Wilson. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
He did a fine job there of not hitting it before the ball arrived, and I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
On 3rd and 1, Wilson. A bullet throw, but incomplete.
Well, they certainly did a nice job there, picking him up out of the backfield and then running stride for stride with him. That's good coverage, and it led to an incompletion.
They'll go for it. It's Hall. And he has the first down before he's tackled at the 5. Now the offense going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it with 19 seconds to go in half number 1. A kicker fest so far. All points via field goals. They're hoping to change that right here. They'll run with Hall. And he'll get him a bit closer as he's down to the 2-yard line. Now the Jets going to use the second of their 3 timeouts. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. 3 red zone trips have yielded just 2 field goals for them to this point, so they'll be searching for something more on 2nd and goal here. They'll look to run with Hall. And he's in. Touchdown, Jets. Breece Hall as the first half is winding down. And the Jets will extend their lead here just before halftime. Michael Badgley on for the extra point. And that will make this a 16-point lead. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And this is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And with 8 seconds on the clock, really not a lot of time to try to put anything together. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. They'll keep it on the ground again here. This will be a short gain of 3 before he's brought down at the 22. So we've hit halftime here at MetLife Stadium with the home team, the Jets, leading this one. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And right out of the gate, they face what you'd think could be a pretty important drive.
I would say so. You know, they're down 2 scores. That's not the end of the world. It wasn't the strongest of first halves, but for them to start clawing back, they've got to start putting a little pressure on that defense, start cutting into this deficit. You can't have 3 and outs and expect to get that done.
From the 31, Prescott. He'll find Lamb crossing the formation for the catch. Just his second catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains. A big completion there against double coverage. And Charles, one of those guys had a pick on him earlier.
Yeah, so he didn't allow that to deter him at all, did he? In fact, it probably was a challenge. Okay, you got to pick me for? It's my turn now to make the big play. And that's exactly what he did.
They'll run left with Pollard. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
Sometimes with the running game, you just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
They go back to Pollard on second down. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. 9 yards, and that leaves him just short, so it'll be third and less than a yard.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he is going to get the first down as he covers up after a pretty good shot there.
That's quite a spot there for his first carry of the game, but obviously they had plenty of faith in him, didn't they?
No question about it. And here, why not go with the fresh legs? Able to push forward, pick up that first. On 1st and 10, Prescott. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked by Riley Harrison. And the Jets are going to take over at their own 41.
And that has to be a little bit discouraging because after all their halftime talk, adjustments, and points of emphasis, their first drive ends with an interception. Absolutely aggravating if you're a head coach because you spent all that time, gone through every situation possible, and it still ends in a turnover.
And he's going to bull his way forward to the 48. 160 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
From just shy of midfield, Wilson. That is caught by Smith-Schuster. And he's going to be taken down at about the 33.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the third quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
Hall again on second down. And he'll be out of bounds as he gets this down to about the 21 or 22. 7 yards there and a first down.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Off the play fake, here's Wilson. Open man completes it to Smith-Schuster. And he is going to lose yardage here. But despite the completion, they're going to wind up losing 3 there. Second down.
Now, I'm not putting him in the Hall of Fame, but if you look at the great linebackers in history, they all have that ability to innately sense where a play is going, sometimes even before the ball snaps, and they're there and they end up making the play.
On the counter, it's Hall. And he's going to take it in for a Jets touchdown. Breece Hall with touchdown number 2 in the game and now 11 on the year as his guys have opened up a very comfortable lead. Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that pushes the lead up to 23. is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. As this offense takes the field against CD, remember last drive they were moving the football, but then they threw that costly interception, so we'll see if they can right the ship here on this drive.
And doesn't that just sum up football? We see it all the time, don't we? The defense goes from losing the battle to making a huge play and stealing the momentum. So you know they're riding high right now, and they're ready to challenge this offense and that quarterback one more time.
And we'll see if the offense is up for that challenge here as things start to get more interesting here in this second half. Forced out to his left. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Connor. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. A gain there of 21 yards.
Well, we talk all the time about playing situational football, and right now I think the scoreboard is dictating what they need to do. Where they are in this game, they've got to push the ball downfield, take their shots, try and get big chunks of yardage in a short amount of time.
And now here is another interception. Picked off by Ashton Davis. And the Jets are going to take over at their own 30-yard line. I think you and I were a little surprised back earlier in the game when he threw his second interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe what we've just seen.
Absolutely. If you would have told me this coming into the ballgame, I would have said never, not in a million years, but here we go. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
And he'll get about 3 up close to the 35. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. This offense so far on 3rd down, not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Now Wilson uncorks one for Davis. And that is going to be pulled in one-handed. Wow. That all the way in. Touchdown, New York. Corey Davis, his first touchdown on the year. And the Jets are looking to make it 2 straight as they add on to this 4th quarter lead. Extra point by Badgley, up and good. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is.
And my goodness, another interception. And the Jets are going to take possession of the football. Well, they've got the huge lead now. They have another interception on the defensive side. Seems like everything they touch in this one, Charles, turns to gold.
And they have to be awfully happy right there to get what appears to be one more for the road. It helps seal away one of their best efforts of the season.
Here's a give to Hall. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they've got it going today.
The previous play, they barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Now they pick up over 30 yards.
No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the fourth quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
They'll go again here from the 10-yard line on 2nd and goal. Here's Hall again. And running room hard to come by here. He gets it down to the 8. After getting stuffed on first down, not much better there. 2-yard gain.
Partner, I know we're in a goal-to-go situation, but my goodness, think about running the ball here. Not even a thought, is it?
Defensively, they're in a prime spot.
And I think the defensive guys are probably expressing themselves to them as well. I wouldn't run it here, guys. You might want to try throwing it.
Not at all what they envisioned on 3rd down. 3 yards in the wrong direction.
They have 3 tight ends in that formation. That's almost a universal sign that they're planning to run the football. But how about the defense there? They met force with force and caused a stack up behind the line of scrimmage and threw him for a loss.
Badgley able to knock this one through, and that will extend their lead even further.
Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3, and they've had that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one.
About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense.
At this point, partner, things looking pretty bleak. They still haven't scored here in the fourth quarter, facing the big deficit. What silver linings, what can they look to do here offensively?
You know, it's funny, I talked about this with a coach in the offseason and kind of had this scenario, like what feels good to you and what feels good to your team. You're down big. You really have like 1 possession left, and you're trying to put points on the board that don't matter. But do they? And he told me they actually do matter. And in this situation, he's going to try and run the best offense he can run, have at least a little bit of confidence to take away from that game. So right now, they're going to try their best to get something up on the board and not get shut out. We all know he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but definitely not today. His team trailing by multiple touchdowns and a late sack, just a parting gift from the defense for him to take back to the locker room with him.
They'll need a big play here. Will Dak and the Cowboys after the sack. It's 3rd and long. Prescott now.
He'll fire deep downfield for Lamb.
And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a first down. They say he was out of bounds. So a big call there. That brings up 4th. Here's Brian Anger now. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. He was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return.
And the Jets will take over.
Jets offense coming up now to start their next drive.
And right about now, heck, they might be wishing they did not have a bye week coming up next week. It appears they're going to go into that week off in high spirits as they've got this one well in hand. Saw the linebacker Damone Clark coming through with a stop.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, But they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Another run on second down with Carter. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. 7 yards there and a first down.
It's nice every now and then in this game not to see people overthink it. Just hand it to the old reliable guy. Let him pick up the first down.
Oh, now Moore going to get a chance to run. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
The defense can stop it twice more as they take a knee here. Meanwhile, you forced turnovers. You didn't allow any points, and you put up a bunch of points. What an effort.
And, Brandon, I just have to ask you, that's all the stuff that we saw happen today. Those are statistics, numbers, the whole deal. But my question is, how does one team come ready to play, and the other one, obviously, not ready at all?
Well, I mean, I obviously don't have an answer to that, but that was the story from the get-go. One side was awake and ready, and the other just seemed to sleep. So for the Jets, they're setting themselves up as a major contender as they move to 8-1 now on the year. And they'll be able to enjoy this one through the bye week before they get back at it again. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, they'll fall to 5-3 with a loss. And they'll try for a better outcome next week as they head to D.C. to take on the Washington Commanders.